What's up, foodies? Today we are making the ultimate St. Patrick's Day hangover cure, a proper full Irish breakfast. We've got crispy Boxty, sizzling bacon rashers, black puddings, white puddings, and all the good stuff to bring you back to life after a big night out. And trust me, if you had a few too many pints, this is exactly what you need. So let's get into it. Let's start with 250 grams or 2 cups of grated potato. Now this is the important part. Grated potatoes hold a lot of moisture, and if you don't squeeze it out, your boxty won't crisp up properly. So once they're grated, grab a clean kitchen towel or cheesecloth, wrap them up, and squeeze out as much liquid as you can. You'll be surprised how much comes out. The drier the potato, the crispier boxty will be. Some people like to use just grated potatoes, but in some parts of Ireland, they mix it with 250 grams or 2 cups of mashed potato for a softer, creamier texture inside while still getting that crispy outside. It's totally up to you. If you have leftover mashed potatoes, toss them in. If not, just stick to using grated potatoes. Just double the amount. That's 4 cups or 500 grams. To that, we're mixing in 80 grams or half a cup of all-purpose flour, half a teaspoon of salt, and half a teaspoon of baking powder. Then we're tossing in 1 egg yolk. This helps bind everything together and gives it a little extra richness. And if you're really feeling that hangover, go ahead and throw in some good Irish cheese. A bit of mature cheddar or even a Dublin or cheese melts right into the boxty, making it extra rich and satisfying. Now we're going to add in half a cup of milk or buttermilk if you have it, but don't dump it in all at once. Start with about half and then mix and add more as needed to get a nice wet batter. You want it to be thick but still spreadable. Kind of like this right here. It's loose but it holds its shape. Now heat a non-stick pan over medium heat, add a little bit of butter and a splash of oil, then drop in small scoops of the batter. Flatten them slightly and cook for about 3 to 4 minutes per side until golden and crispy. You want them relatively thin so they cook all the way through. If they are a bit thicker and not fully cooked through, pop them in a 375-degree oven for a few minutes. Once they're done, pop them onto a plate or tray, keep them warm, and let's move on. Now the best part, the meats. First up, our back bacon, aka rashers. Place the skillet to medium heat, then add in a drop of oil. Then fry up 4 to 6 bacon rashers or normal bacon, then move them to a tray and keep them warm. Next, 6 Irish-style sausages, or as many as you want to eat. They don't have to be Irish, use what you have. Cook them until brown and cook through, then place your sausages on the same tray as your bacon. And of course, we can't forget the black and white pudding. If you don't know what black pudding is made from oats, pork fat, and blood, usually pig's blood. That gives it that dark color and rich savory flavor. It's packed with spices and has a slightly crumbled texture when fried. Now white pudding on the other hand is similar but without the blood. It's made with pork, suet, oatmeal, and spices. So it's milder in flavor but still delicious and rich. Add a bit more oil to the pan and add a few rounds of black pudding, and if you have it, a few rounds of white pudding. Fry them for about 2 minutes per side until crispy on the outside. They're already cooked, so you just need to warm them up and get them nice and crispy. And hey, if you're just cooking for yourself, you can toss everything in the same pan at once and let it cook together. One pan, less cleanup, it's definitely a win, especially when you're recovering from a late night. Once your puddings are heated up and crispy, remove them from the pan and place them with the bacon and sausage. Now using the same pan, because we're keeping all that flavor from the meats, goes in a knob of butter and some oil. Then toss in 1 cup of mushrooms and a pinch of salt. And if you got some fresh thyme, toss that in as well. Now let those mushrooms cook down until those flavors are concentrated and nice and browned. Now we need to sear our tomato. Push the mushrooms to one side of the pan and add a bit more oil. Cut the tomato in half and place it cut side down for about 2 to 3 minutes until it gets a nice sear and softens up. I mean, with all this meat cooking, we need some veg to balance things out. I mean, that's how it works, right? I mean, a little freshness goes a long way and it makes you feel like a human again after a long night. Now that our veg and meat are done and our boxty, it's time to hit the last thing, our eggs. I'm gonna go ahead and make sunny side up eggs for this so I get that nice Instagram shot and perfect thumbnail. But if you wanna do it another way, go for it. Scrambled eggs work just as well. So here's how to get them perfect every time. Start with a non-stick pan over low heat. If you're looking for a good non-stick pan or want to move away from coated pans, I'm using my Strata stainless steel carbon steel hybrid pan. I love it. It works great on induction, heats evenly, and once it's seasoned, you get a nice non-stick surface, perfect for frying up these eggs. Just a heads up, this isn't a sponsored video. I truly do love this pan, but if you want to check it out, you can get 10% off in the link in the description below. Toss in a good knob of butter and gently cracking your eggs. Don't touch them, let them cook until the whites start setting. Then tilt the pan slightly to gather the butter to one side. Now, we're not going to flip these eggs, we're actually going to baste them with the butter. Take a spoon and start basting the hot melted butter over the eggs. This will gently cook the egg whites while keeping those yolks beautifully golden and glossy for that perfect picture. After about 30 seconds of basting, your eggs are set and your yolks are still runny. No broken edges, no overcooking, just perfect looking eggs. Now it's time to put it all together. Place the eggs on a plate and season with some salt and garnish with some fresh chives. Then add our crispy boxty, our sausages, bacon, black puddings and white puddings, tomatoes and mushrooms. Plus, don't forget a couple slices of toasted soda bread or brown bread for dipping your eggs. And of course, a strong Irish tea or coffee to fix whatever happened last night. Or if you want to keep the party going, another Guinness also goes well with this. All right, we've got crispy, hearty, and greasy, everything you need to survive the morning after St. Paddy's Day. But before we wrap it up, I got one more thing to add. I'm a Newfoundlander with strong Irish roots, and in Newfoundland we do things a little bit different. So I'm throwing in a couple slices of fried bologna, also known as Newfie steak. Now you got yourself an Irish Newfoundland breakfast, something very similar to what I grew up on as a child. If last night hit you hard, this breakfast is bringing you back to life. No luck of the Irish need it. If you give this a shot, let me know how it turns out in the comments. And if you got your own twist on it, I want to hear about it. And if you like this video, give a thumbs up, a subscribe down below, and until next time, FOOD-DEE out.